Hi everyone and welcome to another pick a card reading. Today we have a very special subject because one way or another, through astrology, through tarot, through your own intuition, through your specific source of guidance, all of us kind of know without a shadow of a doubt that really tough, challenging and intense times are coming for all of us collectively, and chances are that the very powerful and intense karmic events are already starting to cascade, basically, as in a chain reaction. So basically, that reaction has already started, and all of us can feel it. We might suspect where all of this is taking us collectively. We know without a shadow of a doubt that this is basically when we enter the gates of the new paradigm from an astrological perspective on the 21st of December 2020 at the time of the Great Conjunction. But for those people who astrology doesn't say a lot, it's basically around the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. But before we get there, we have to endure a lot, and I mean a lot. This is basically another one of the big world changes where some of us already have some kind of experience because maybe in our past, in the history of our own cultures, have went through something very similar like this, while other people have absolutely no experience of what it feels like. But it doesn't matter, we're still in the same boat. So this pick a card reading as the spirit to give us some kind of guidance, an advice maybe, of what it is that we need to do to navigate safely through this period and naturally turn it to our advantage if there is any possibility for this. So, like at any other pick a card reading, just look at the 4 cards for a couple of seconds and then choose a card which appeals to your intuitive senses the most, and of course then jump straight to its interpretation. Now, those who have chosen the first card, well, your card is the Death, and this is really symbolic regarding the big picture because that is exactly what's going on. A massive transformation, the closing of one cycle and the opening of the new one. And even astrologically, the Death card is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn. Pluto is the main planet from an astrological perspective, which is actually triggering all of this. Of course, not alone, but Pluto is one of the massive power players in this big change. So the Death card is not really an advice for you guys. It is more like a kind of prediction of what you can expect, because I think in your situation there is no advice to give, to be totally honest with you. And of course this isn't anything negative, this isn't bad, this isn't doom and gloom, just that basically you can expect your own situation to unfold very similarly to what you see on the world stage. So the transformation and the changes are going to be very profound, very heavy, and basically regardless of what you want, what you desire, what you're afraid of, this change, the karmic forces are simply gonna drag you along, and there will be very little saying that you can have through this process, this massive change. And also, card number 1, the Death, speaks of 2 different kind of people, so even its symbolism is not just singular, because this very profound and massive and intense change has to reset your lives. And this is where the meaning of the card diverges into 2 separate directions, so it speaks to 2 different kind of people. So for some people, The Death card represents a very profound change, which might involve certain losses, certain endings, certain terminations, which can simply enter your life as an instant, a lightning bolt, in a flash, and it can take away a lot of things. But this is where you really, really shouldn't resist change. You shouldn't resist the loss, regardless of what it means, regardless of how intimidating or frightening it looks, at first glance, because this is terminating basically the biggest problems, the biggest obstacles, the biggest blockages in your life. And it's not that you didn't try to resolve them, it's not that you didn't try your very best to remove them, but some are so deeply rooted. And of course, we have to mention that this is simply not your fault. None of this is your fault. None of the blockages, none of the obstacles in your life have to do with you, because everything that had to do with you, you already worked at. That is already resolved. That is already closed, both emotionally, maybe socially, materially, in any other sense. What it was your fault, what was your responsibility, is already completed. And now you may find yourself in a situation where you have absolutely no power over those obstacles and blockages that still remain. And maybe your life and even your karmic journey is in a massive stagnation, and not even the karmic forces, not even the power of the universe was enough to, create a forward momentum for you. And this is why the big change for you coincides with the global change, because it is just gonna rip away the obstacles from your life, because those obstacles weren't created by you, they were created by the times you lived in, by society, how the world basically was, and the morality and the justice system in the world. So that is exactly why whoever made those problems have a massive impact in your life has to also take it away. So it's fate, it is Lady Fortuna, so to speak, the universe, the karmic forces. And this is where even the universe has to, own its responsibility, its duty. If you did everything in your power to help your situation, and there were certain elements which simply weren't in your power anymore, well, this is where the universe is intervening and just reformatting your life. So for you, the change is going to simply sweep over your life, and there is no charge to this. We can't even say if the events are going to be negative, positive, joyful, or fearful, or whatever. It won't even have a charge. It will just be a change where each and every day you will see your situation evolving, changing, transmuting. And if there's any losses involved, you have to give up something, surrender something. Well, then the best advice here is to just go with the flow, just trust the process, because this is like a divine surgery that is removing the tumor, it's removing the, dead tissue from your existence, from your life. It is setting you free, and it doesn't matter how you're gonna live it through, because it won't be a long period of time, it won't be years. In the most worst case, it is just gonna be the 6 months, not even 6, only 5 months left. And it's gonna be so dynamic, so quick, so instant, so shocking, that it simply, you won't have time to dwell on it, to worry, to feel that much fear. It will be really, really intense. And ultimately, after it ends, after things start to settle down, you will be more than grateful. Because even if it's just starting from square one, it will remove a lot of problems, a lot of blockages, and your life is gonna be totally different. Because your reality will work in a totally different way. This is where, when you actually want something and input effort, power, energy, whatever, name it whatever you want, into your desire, well, that is when life is gonna give it to you with ease. And this is exactly what was almost impossible all throughout your old life. It didn't matter what you did, how you did it, how much you sacrificed for it. Nothing seemed to come together as it does for others, or even if it had come together, it was so difficult and slow. And this is what is changing. It's changing energetically, it is changing karmically, it's even changing emotionally. This is like a big moment of rebirth, but before you can arise from your ashes, you have to burn to crisp, and that is the losses, or the endings, or the surrender. This is where the universe actually wants to give you a new life, and it is happening. It is already starting. Now, the second meaning, the second interpretation, what this speaks to a different category of people, it's very similar, but it represents a psychological transformation more than anything else. But of course, the psychological transformation is definitely going to lead to a new life. But when I say new, it's gonna be brand new. That's why the death card is so very predominant, because the past just has to end. And for you guys, the biggest problems, the biggest blockages are psychological. And once more, just like for the previous category, it is not really your fault. You have done everything in your power, like literally everything, to shift it, to change it, to heal it, to reconfigure it, in order for you to have a life of freedom, a normal life basically, so that reality at least functions minimally as it does for other people. But I think you had so much pain, you had so much suffering in your life, like a nightmarish existence, that, some wounds broke you, and some wounds actually cannot be healed. Like, it doesn't matter who tries it, how they try it. Some wounds are so very profound, they had left such a powerful impact on you, that those determined all your life. It's basically like you are still living in that same picture when you were wounded. The shock, the trauma, the pain was so intense that it froze you in time. Yeah, for your physical body, time flows, yes, but for your soul, karmically, you're basically just trapped. And I repeat, this has nothing to do with you. This isn't your fault whatsoever. And for you guys, this death card represents some kind of very profound psychological, psychic, emotional shock that will simply kickstart your energetic, ethereal heart, so to speak, so that you can live once again. Because, the death card tells us that ever since this moment, the present moment, you're not really alive. You're just trapped in a kind of temporal loop where nothing changes on your inside. So your life is like the infinity symbol, where it just goes in circles, but nothing truly new can enter it. Only basically the same experience in different versions, different nuances, different colors symbolically. And this is what has to end. The infinity symbol has to be broken, and this is the death card. It is reviving you. It is somehow shocking that deep trauma or the blockage or the hurt, what broke you profoundly, it's shocking it out of your system. It is sending you like a divine bolt of electricity, which is just gonna start the systems, symbolically said of course, of your consciousness, to somehow try and get out of that very strong loop. Basically, it's like when there's a chick stuck inside the egg, and the shell of the egg is, for any reason, way too strong, way too resistant, and it cannot crack it open at the moment of its birth when it has to hatch. Well, we know what fate the chick is gonna have. It's gonna suffocate. And this is exactly what the universe is trying very, very hard to do in your life. Especially that it's not your fault. You guys are really victims of, like the twisting of fate, the force of hazard, when even the divine plan, there's a glitch in it, or a bug in it, or some kind of misfortunate twist and turn. But ultimately, there is solution, there is divine solution, even if a human one doesn't exist. So that is what's gonna happen in your life. So basically the advice is the same. Don't resist, don't go against the flow, embrace it with maximum detachment. Don't even care about your past. Don't even care about your future. Just care about the present. Embrace it, work with it. Let it heal you. Let it pump life into you. Let it get you out of that, as I said earlier, that really vicious infinity symbol. Let it rip you out as forcefully as it can. Yes, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna feel like the Twilight Zone. It's gonna feel like you just entered into a very unusual, weird, surreal horror movie or sci-fi movie. But go with it, because this is your salvation. Now, for those who have chosen the second card, your card is the Nine of Cups. And this is a really, really beautiful message, because this tells you that throughout your life, you have developed very strong, very, very accurate, very practical coping skills to everything. So for you guys, you have developed a certain kind of life philosophy or life view that happiness is a choice, and each and every person has inside of them everything that they need to create happiness in their own lives, regardless of their circumstances. And of course, naturally, this is going to be your greatest virtue, that is going to be your saving and guiding light throughout this darkness, throughout the crisis, throughout the global turmoil. You guys have very, very powerful self-nurturing skills. Of course, you were born with these, but through your life, through various different life experiences, you developed it, you evolved it. So you're very, very self-sufficient, especially psychologically and emotionally. So basically, you guys can go through anything external and still be okay with yourselves. And naturally, this is exactly what you have to do. So you guys are very, very well prepared. The Nine of Cups simply represents that you're not gonna get immersed into the drama. You're not buying the fear agenda. You're not buying all the contradictory theories, information, communication. You're not even buying into the version of centralized power. It doesn't mean that you don't care, because don't get me wrong, you're very compassionate. You're actually helping, guiding, advising, inspiring, being there for other people. May they be family, friends, soul friends, connections, even strangers. So you guys are very strongly at work in the world, because basically you are the archetype that can go through this with the greatest ease, because of your coping skills, because of your life experience, because of your wisdom, and because of your very profound emotional intelligence. So actually, you guys should just do your thing. You're ready, you're prepared, you have everything that you need inside of yourself. You're full of wisdom, you're full of compassion, you know how to see the bright side of things, you know what really healthy optimism and hopefulness is you also know what toxic positivity is, and so you know the balance. You have everything that you need inside of yourselves to cope, to navigate through this, to help other people, to turn the positive side to your advantage, and to try your very best to heal the negative things. So for you guys, the advice is very simple. Do your thing, be yourself, apply all your wisdom, all your life experience, because you guys are ready for this. Now we get to card number 3, and those of you who were attracted to the third card, your card is the 7 of Cups. Now this might represent that you might be either the dreamer, or the artist, or the sensitive soul, or the empathic type of person archetype. So for you guys, this isn't, like predominantly negative, neither positive, but it's very, very multifaceted, very, very confusing. But as I say, it doesn't have to be in the negative way, just that so much is happening at the same time. It has so very many different faces, the crisis, how different people cope with it, the karmic events, the contradiction in the world, and in the media and everywhere. So for you guys, it is a very unusual, almost surreal experience, which on one hand actually feeds your soul, it feeds your imagination, because you're living through something very, very unusual, something that you might have never experienced before. So just like every other type of new experience, something that you go through the first time in your life, it is very interesting, and you need a lot of time to actually process it and take it in. But all of this is absolutely fine. The problem is, maybe mentally, you might not know what to do, what the right choices are, what the right attitude is, if you need to prepare in any special way. For example, a lot of people are, like stacking up food, or other people are managing their money in different ways than usual. Everyone is coping and preparing themselves their own special way, and you guys don't know if you should take any specific action, or if you just go with the flow, if you have to trust yourselves and your intuition, or if you have to do something specific. So for you guys, it's like an informational and inner decision crisis more than anything, because simply this is your nature, this is who you are, and the advice of the universe, what you should do to navigate through these difficult times, well, for you guys it's very easy, because since you're dreamers, since you're artistic souls, or you dwell in the world of dreams, imagination, fantasy, basically your inner world, more than on the outside, well, this is exactly what you should be doing, because for you guys, this is a very important opportunity. If you just observe the world and not get immersed into the drama, but rather get immersed as much as you can into your inner world, dreams, your artistic, your creational activities, your daydreaming, your highest philosophies. If you just do your thing, this can be a period when you can be quite productive, when inspiration, dreams, guidance, epiphanies, ideas, everything that keeps you going reaches you. So for you guys, it's actually quite a good opportunity to go out there and start fulfilling your dreams, or it is actually a very good time to get productive, get creative, invest all the effort, all the energy you have into your art, or into whatever you're doing. May that be even like a spiritual practice like meditation, or just, learning something new, learning something you never resonated with earlier or before. So for you guys, there's actually a lot to do, a lot of activities available, a lot of inspiration. some source of inspiration is negative, because the suffering, the pain, the violence in the world is not going to be positive, but you can still basically record it, integrate it into your art, let it inspire you, let the information be transmuted through your soul, and then through your creation you're gonna show the world how you lived it. And that can be quite a profitable activity, because a lot of people are going to turn to art or beauty or fantasy or reading other people's experience in order to cope with it. So if you are creators, if you're dreamers, if you're artists, even spiritualists, well, this can be quite a fertile period for you. Just, don't get immersed into the drama, don't get immersed into the negativity. You should actually see all of this through the lens of your soul, through your artistic spirit, and let all these experiences feed you and basically accumulate them, because after this ends, this could inspire you for a lot of years. You can write about this, how you lived this through, how you experienced it, since you're so very multidimensional, because that's what it takes to be an artist. You can, depict very, very many different facets of this. You can highlight the contradiction, how certain people live it. Some people live it as a big drama, others live it as a dream come true, others live it, as in a very religious way. So there's a lot of opportunity and potential in this experience for you guys, as long as you live your story and not immerse into it. Just use it as a source of inspiration, a source of creativity. And since you're artists, dreamers, like you work through the lens of your soul, you are like living, breathing historians for later generations, for the next generations, for those souls who are either not born yet or are very, very young children. Well, they will basically need your work of art or writing or however you express yourself to look back at this page of humanity's history, and your unique perspective will make their world, their culture, the world of the future that much richer. So basically for you guys, this is the role that you have to embody. So the universe just encourages you to dream, to analyze, to take the experience in, alchemize it, and just then create and express yourselves. Now, for those of you who were guided to the fourth card, your card is the High Priestess. And this card has several different nuances to it, but I think all of them are true at the same time for your case. So on one hand, the High Priestess reveals that your ancestors or someone in your family, like grandparent, great-grandparent, or someone going back even further, has been a figure, a very, very relevant figure, who has gone through not one but several very strong life changes, global changes, when the world was in flames and ashes. So you might have, for example, an ancestor who survived the First and Second World War, or has been in a concentration camp, or something really dramatic happened in their lives which has to do with a similar event in the past. So basically their experience, however they survived it, however they coped with it, and whatever they saw, whatever they lived, is actually embodied, as in written in your genes. So you are born with, a set of dormant skills inside your unconscious mind, inside your instincts, inside your genes basically. It's like a package of information, a package of energy which is dormant, but whenever you as an individual might go through something like that, it will instantly activate, and all of a sudden, overnight, you are gonna have all these skills already developed inside of you. And you might be experiencing heavy periods of migraines, headaches, or some kind of physical pain which is mysterious, which doesn't make sense, has nothing to do with anything. Well, if that is what you're going through, then you should know that your genes are activating. This energy, this information in your body, in your brain even, is, enlivening. So you're being prepared to navigate this period with greater ease. So this is already an ancestral blessing which has been bestowed upon you. And the other thing is how all of this is going to manifest. Well, the High Priestess is simple. Through your intuition, through your instincts, gut feeling, dreams, just simply knowing what you have to do, knowing what to expect, knowing how to manage any situation. So basically, you guys are, if anyone is guided through this in the most mysterious and, even palpable ways, well, it's definitely you guys. This doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be a game or a piece of cake, but what it does mean is that you guys are gonna be guided through your inner voice, your intuition, and you don't even have to worry about it. Whenever something difficult might arise in your situations, in your lives, well, not only will you know in advance, thanks to your intuition, your dreams, and all of that, but you will also know the solution, what you need to do. It's almost like your instincts are gonna take over the wholeness of your being and you're gonna be guided. So you guys shouldn't even worry about survival. You shouldn't really worry that much about anything, because if you are gonna be in danger, well, the solution and the guidance and the skills and everything is gonna be right there with you. And for those of you who might not really need them, who are not going to be in any kind of danger, who won't have any kind of problem, well, then your skills and that dormant energy can be there for someone else in your life. So either way, you guys are more than prepared. And another nuance to this High Priestess is that you kind of knew that this was coming. You knew without a shadow of a doubt that sooner or later a massive world change event is coming, because the change is so much needed and so many things in the world had to just close and disappear. And you guys also feel very strongly and profoundly that whatever all of us are heading towards collectively, well, for you guys it's gonna be a world full of opportunities to be yourself, to hold your position, to be safe, to be much more relevant than you were before. So deep inside, your soul, your higher self, your inner High Priestess is actually looking forward to this, because it knows that for you guys it's gonna be a very important period in your lives when you're gonna get a lot of things done. But before you get there, of course, you have to survive this. But equally, you're more than ready. You're prepared. You have everything that you need inside of you, but in your genes, in your instincts. So you guys are more prepared than anyone else. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for playing along. I wish everyone a blessed and safe day. Until next time, bye for now.